Hello, everyone. Herschel Greenberg here again to give you another negotiations update. This one's a little bit behind. Sincerely apologize for that. The negotiations update in this video is from April 3rd. And the proposal that the Faculty Association brought forward is very complex. And so I wanted to make sure that I had a full understanding of how to articulate it in 5 minutes or less. If you give me an hour, I could talk about it the entire time, but I don't want to take an hour on a video. So here is the update on what a parity package looks like. First, we defined what one LHE means. And we did that for all the faculty groups on campus: credit, counselor, librarian, non-credit, and instructional specialist. For example, one LHE for a full-time credit professor is 18 hours of classroom instruction, 18 hours of prep and grading, and 4 hours of office hours. For example, a full-time non-credit LHE is 22 classroom teaching hours, 14 hours of prep and grading, and 4 hours of office hours. Now, when we use our lecture hour equivalent, this translates into a specific amount of time per week. So a full-time credit professor per week is assigned 15 teaching hours, 15 hours of prep and grading, 4 hours of office hours, and 6 hours of service to the college. A non-credit full-time professor, when you break the LHE down per week, is 20 classroom teaching hours, 12 hours of prep and grading, 4 hours of office hours, and 4 hours of service to the college. And these charts are in our proposal, and they would go into Article 10A. Now, this is very important to understand because it defines what one LHE means, and it clearly outlines the work you are doing for those hours. When you take those LHEs and you start to translate them into how we're going to get parity for adjunct, that LHE matters because right now, an adjunct is paid for 18 hours of classroom instruction. An adjunct is not being paid for 18 hours of prep and grading and is not being paid 4 hours of office hours. So our proposal, in order to reach true parity for adjunct pay, requires two numbers to be calculated differently. And this is a major paradigm shift for the district to understand, and which is why it's quite complicated to explain. And hopefully, I'm going to make it sound easy. First, the dollar amount. Right now, in order for an adjunct to reach parity, the number that a full-timer makes a dollar amount per teaching a class would be calculated at 85%. And that 85% is actually already in the contract. There is a paragraph on parity in Article 7, and it says parity will be achieved when an adjunct is paid the dollar amount at 85%. Now, you're probably wondering why 85%. And that is because an adjunct does not do the 6 hours of service to the college the way a full-timer does. So the dollar amount for an adjunct to be paid at parity is calculated on what the class is valued at when a full-timer teaches it. So for example, if you are an adjunct and you're on column 1, step 4, your new dollar amount is $79.16. Your reaction's probably going to be, that's a substantial drop to what's in the contract right now. And it is, but it's the parity dollar amount for the same class a full-timer would teach. Now, what changes is the multiplier for the number of hours worked. Currently, an adjunct would take their column 1, step 4 dollar amount and multiply by 18 because the college is only paying you for your labor in the classroom. It is not paying you for your prep and grading and office hours. Instead of 18, under our new proposal of pay parity for adjunct, your dollar amount will be multiplied by 41 hours. And that's because there is a way to calculate how much an adjunct would do in being paid for office hours, which is a total of 5 rather than 4. And again, that's very complicated and takes a lot more time to explain, but there's an advantage to the way this is being calculated. So instead of having your multiplier be 18, your multiplier is 41. So if you take $79.16, multiply it by 41, and then multiply it by the number of LHE you are teaching if you're a credit professor, that's going to be your new dollar amount. which should be substantially more than what you're being paid now. And the way you can look at it is this. It is possible to calculate the dollar amount a full-timer professor is paid for teaching the class. The class has a dollar value. When you are calculating it now for an adjunct, that dollar amount should be the same. So the value of the class, no matter who teaches it, both full-timer and part-timer are going to be paid the same. And that's what parity means. Um, in order to ease into the cost to the district, the FA proposed a ramp up time period of 3 years. This aligns with the cycle that we are in for the current contract negotiations. So right now we're in year 1 of 3. The goal is that the district can then plan ahead and see the cost in year 1, year 2, and year 3. We're hoping that the district sees this as a way to ease into this concept and budget accordingly in 3 years. It also allows the district to see how we can work some creative solutions to this problem. Okay, the update that I wrote is been sent out already, and in it, it does talk about the lawsuits that have that are going on right now. And one of the lawsuits discussed is the one from Long Beach Community College. I don't want to go into all those details right now, but the Long Beach Community College lawsuit and settlement is going to play a huge part in Mount SAC's desire to resolve this. We really want to make sure that Mount SAC understands that each day that goes by, that they don't fix the problem of adjunct not being paid for prep and grading and office hours accordingly, is another day they're liable for lawsuits because they are paying people improperly. Okay, that was complicated. There's a whole lot more I can talk about. Please read the negotiation update. Feel free to reach out to anybody on the negotiation team to have them explain to you any other parts of this proposal. One last thing, I want to get my dates in front of me for a more detailed discussion and have your answers or your questions be answered. There are 2 FACS workshops that are coming up. The first one is going to be Wednesday, April 22nd from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. And the second one will be Thursday, April 30th from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. This is where we can go into some deeper discussion. We can look at the charts and the diagrams of how an LHE is calculated, how that converts to a weekly hour for all working groups of faculty. We can talk about the pay schedule for an adjunct at full parity and how the math is calculated. So if you are able to attend and you have additional questions or want to learn more information about this proposal, those 2 FACS workshops are available for you. All right, thank you for listening.